Hi everyone, I'm Dennis Foley from Acoustic Fields. I wanted to give you a little bit of my background in acoustic products research and development. It really started back when I was 16, 17 years old. I used to take equipment that was currently in the marketplace. This was back in the 60s, late 60s, and piece it together, tape decks, speakers, amplifiers, all kinds of things. I'd have stacks and stacks, combinations of systems that I could never afford, but always wondered what they sounded like. As time marched on, I was able to make a little money and buy some equipment, and I did what everybody else did. I always bought large speakers and put them in small rooms. Well, today we know that not a good recipe for good sound, because too much energy in too small of a space never produces the kind of sound that we want. So I learned that as time went on. So back in the 80s, mid 80s, 90s, I became a partner in a real estate development firm, and their specialty was high-end office buildings. The thing about high-end office building is the clients want the rooms really quiet. They pay extra for that. They want the rooms to be quiet. They're doctors, lawyers. So their concern for rooms that sound good and are quiet is a major part of this type of office building. So a developer needs to pay particular attention to this area and focus on it. So I was picked, obviously, because of my interest and background in sound and my building experience, to develop a package, a room package of materials, of sizes, construction techniques, all the things that were necessary to create a really quiet, good sounding room for both music and speech, because both music and speech are quite different. In order to do this, they gave me a pretty sizable budget and 8 years and 8 guys. So I was fortunate to be able to have the money to pursue what we were going to do, what our objective was, and then have the crews to do it. So we first started out with taking into consideration what was the norm at the time. What was the standard interior wall like? What was the standard exterior wall like? What was the fill material like? What was the construction methodology that you used to put drywall or whatever type of material were on there? So we tested that. We did sound transmission class testing. We did vibrational analysis. I mean, we really ran the gamut of the structures based on the evidence and the use at the time. So we tried to figure out what was going on so that we could improve upon the deficiencies in that. I had 3 homes. The middle home was actually my own personal home. The 2 on the end were for the workers. And the reason for that is I could never get the workers to show up, especially on a Monday morning after a weekend at the pub at the 7 a.m. start point. So I would actually go through the 2 homes on either side and bang the garbage can lids together to get them to rise, and coffee and donuts were readily available, so we were off and running to the races. So for 8 years, I would literally tear out walls, build new combinations of materials, internal fill materials, external fill materials, etc., etc. This went on for a process of about 8 years, and through that R&D process, the development company was able to get a wall, if you will, or a room size, if you will, and a wall combination that fit their marketing and price point requirements for quiet, good sounding rooms for music and voice. So then I decided, well, wait a minute, after all this research and development for this real estate development company, why not make the technology and the data that I have available as a result of this research, why don't we put that into a freestanding product that people can use in their rooms? Because I remember back when I was 16 or 20 or so with my first system, and I had, I think, JBL 100s or something like that in my 10 by 10 by 10 room, or 10 by 10 by 8 foot room, bedroom. And, you know, it was horrible. The room modes dominated everything. So we just, you couldn't hear anything, even though I thought it sounded great. Well, it didn't. So how can we take this technology that I developed, put it in a freestanding form, and make it available to people so that they can benefit from all of this research that I've done? So that's prompted the change and the development and the start of Acoustic Fields. So our goal with Acoustic Fields is to provide that technology that we discovered in a freestanding portable form for listening rooms, home theaters, professional recording studios, and the like. The big transition came when I discovered the activated carbon. We had the structure of the wall together. I knew what material combinations, I knew how many layers of those materials, I knew damping compounds and things like that between the layers that were necessary. So the structure I had pretty well figured out after 8 years of R&D and actually building 111, I think, different sized rooms with different blends of things. So how do we give that to the freestanding unit? Well, it's got to be stronger because it's freestanding. It doesn't have the benefit of being in a wall. So the real breakthrough came with the activated carbon fill, which I discovered one day really by accident in the office. There was a water filter on the kitchen sink in our office, and it was flashing, and I figured it needed some kind of attention. So I tried to get it open, I couldn't, so I gave it the attention that it needed. I hit it with a hammer because I wanted to see what was inside of it. And out comes all this activated carbon, which I didn't really know what it was. I knew it looked like charcoal, and it was probably, obviously, a filtering agent for water. So I started to do the research, and push comes to shove down the road. The carbon turned out to be a huge, powerful absorber that I needed for the freestanding unit, so I could get them to perform exactly like the unit, or exactly like the rooms I had for the real estate development company. So that's what prompted that. And then we went into the foam technology for that was for good low frequency absorption. Then we decided we weren't happy with the response curves of existing foam in the marketplace, so we came up with our proprietary foam technology. And that we'll save for a whole nother video, because that was another interesting process similar to what we went through with the carbon. Thank you.